goals you can set for Honey while working together outside. Notice that I have our towel out here so that she can still indicate for me when she is ready to learn. She is very happy to lay down on this. She will even move to it when cued. But see how easily distracted she is. We've just moved back outside after spending some time inside. Keep in mind that anytime you go from an indoor environment to an outdoor environment, you need to allow time for her to acclimate. And during that acclimation time, you cannot set super high standards for her. Yep, good girl. All you can really ask for initially is stillness and attention on you. And then once she moves onto this mat on her own, that's an indication from her that she's in a learning frame of mind, and you can start to ask for more. And here's what I want you to ask for when we're outside. Let's go. Yep. Yep. Sit. Sit. Yep. So this is me reintroducing the auto sit exercise in an outdoor setting. Notice that I have set her up on her mat before asking for her to stop and sit with me. This again is setting her up for success. She knows what this mat means, and she knows what the expectation is when I ask her to do it on the mat. While I'm still introducing this, I want to show you what it looks like when it goes wrong, when you ask her for it outside of the mat as a context clue. Yep. Sit. So you see her freezing? Sit. Yep, that's a good girl. Good job. Let's go. And you see her trying to charge towards the mat. Here. Yep. Yep. Good job. Very nice. Sit. Yep. Good girl. So that slower performance is what it's going to look like as she builds comfort and confidence working for you in an outdoor setting. You need to have patience in those moments and not repeat the cue too much and beg for her to do the work. Because if you start begging from the first moment you're teaching her, you're going to have to keep begging for the rest of her learning time. Okay? We want her to figure out that she needs to perform on the first cue in order to get the reward. And if you have to repeat yourself, she doesn't understand it, she doesn't have the confidence to do it, so it's not fair for you to ask it of her. One more time I'm going to demonstrate this after she finishes exploring. She's going to have very short bursts of attention and focus when she's outside, and you need to let her explore. If you start asking her to work and work and work and don't give her times to investigate and explore and be curious about her surroundings, you're going to start to see gator snapping from her. Good girl! You're going to start to see her biting at the leash. All of those are indications of frustration, and that is because she's not being allowed to do doggy things. You're asking her to do human things. So you need to let her do doggy things in between the learning periods. Let's go. Yep. Yep. Sit. Yep. Good girl. Here. Yep. Let's go. Yep. Oh, I missed you. Come here. Yep. Like, so you see how she's getting a little zoomy? She's getting a little gator snappy. This is all frustration because she is overwhelmed and I have not really let her explore. So we're going to finish strong here with her choosing to move on to her place and sitting and confidently and calmly taking in her environment. And then I'm going to give her what's called a termination cue. And that's going to be F-R-E-E. Honey. Free. And basically this termination cue, we have a new client coming in, so she's reacting vocally here. Alright, so I just want to give you a quick review of how I handled that distracting situation when she started alert barking at a new client coming in. I simply retreated. I did use her name to try and regain her attention and interrupt the vocal response. Yep. But mostly, I just moved away. And I do have her on a long line. Yep, that's a good girl. So I'm able to build a little more distance between her and me with this long line still nice and relaxed. If she did try to pull towards the person, I just stood firm. So tension was created whenever she tried to pull towards the person. Anytime she moved away from the person and towards me, I used my marker. She wasn't really taking rewards for me during that period, so I simply used my marker and continued movement away. And eventually she chose to come with me and receive affection. I even got down on her level and gave her some affection while she listened out of view to the client exiting his vehicle, closing the door, and moving into the lobby space. The sight was too overstimulating for her. She is very, very sight motivated and very sensitive to changes in her environment related to sight at this point. When we first started working together, she was sound sensitive. So we've done a good job of desensitizing her to sounds. Now it is visual stimulus that really overwhelms her and causes her to overreact. I noticed this again with dogs too. So in those moments, when you see something and she begins to bark and pull and lunge, do not try to talk to her or work her through that problem. You've already lost the battle between the distraction and you. She's going to choose the distraction. You need to retreat. You need to get out of there until she is out of sight of the distraction and can only listen. To it. And then you can try to work through just calm, quiet focus on the sound of whatever it was that previously caused her to react. We got success with this with dogs in our lobby space. I moved into an exam room, closed the door so she could listen to the dogs scuffling and jingling, and I was able to give her rewards while she just quietly listened. Yep, good girl. We just saw a cyclist. Good job. While she quietly listened to the other dogs from underneath the door. And then I was able to get some success again after she initially reacted to the sight of that client entering our lobby. I moved out of sight. She was able to approach me and stand and calmly watch. Sit. Yep. So retreat is an option for you. You need to make sure that it is always an option, and I think it's the best option while we work through this stop exercise that you're trying to work on with her. Because what I'm seeing right now, and what I think that you're wanting from her, is the reactions to stop. And that is a very long, drawn-out process that I would love to continue working with her on. It takes slow, incremental practice steps in order to get her to just stop and take things in without having to react. So we're going to end on this note right here where she is nice and relaxed and offering me a down on her mat. And I look forward to seeing what she can do for me during our next session and reporting back to you with our results.